Mr. George Floyd, right? He should not be put as a hero because I think like 6 years ago he was arrested and he got released after that, and he was doing methamphetamine and a few other drugs.
Viewer discretion is advised. The following content may involve profanities and controversy. Three Birds, One Stone does not intend to cause harm to anyone in any way or form. This show is a platform for us and our viewers to share their respective views on controversial topics via fruitful and peaceful means. We seek your help in correcting us in a case where our facts may prove to be wrong. Thank you.
Two,
I
one, and we're live, boys, ladies, and gentlemen. Welcome back to Three Birds, One Stone show. We're back with our #2 episode today. Today we're going to be talking about a really sensitive topic to many people, and to me, it's really close to my heart as well because I've gone through it a lot. And by the title, you already know what it is. We're talking about racism, right? So all of us have been through racism, no matter who you are. Even if you're like the most privileged person on the earth, you would have gone through some racism. You know what I'm saying?
I beg to differ.
Wait, first of all, what is racism? How do we define racism? Right?
What's up, guys? I'm Kirtan.
Yeah,
Wow,
actually,
wow.
yeah, Sasang, wow, this is just utterly disappointing,
Oh my
man.
God.
We have a
God.
guest
Wait,
here.
I'm gonna
That guy
redo
doesn't
that. I'm gonna
exist.
redo that. Guys, I'm so
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I got messed up last night. I'm gonna redo it.
No. Let's just keep it. Let's just keep it going, okay? No. This is making it.
It's good.
Oh
This is
my God.
content. This is content.
I can't believe I forgot to introduce our really special guest. Already, and we didn't even meet
Yes.
properly, but like
Now it just sounds
this guy-
sarcastic. You just went really
for real,
special,
for
guys.
real.
Okay, guys.
He's actually pretty special. Like he's
Okay,
gonna
guys.
be.
So we welcome Kirtan in our Three Birds, One Stone show.
What is
Shit.
up?
All
Kirtan, do you
right,
have
my man-
anything to say,
my man,
like
Kirtan, introduce
about yourself?
Introduce yourself, man.
Man, both of you are talking at the same time.
I'm just kidding. I'm not lagging. What's up, guys? I'm Kirtan. I'm 17. I met Sasank and Arkar over house party, and Ibrahim.
Amazing intro right there. Amazing intro.
Yes,
Anything special that you want to tell
And
us?
we met
Tell the
through a
audience
mutual
about yourself.
friend, right? We met through a mutual friend. Don't say just
Yeah.
house party lah. It sounds a bit sketchy. You get what I mean?
Yeah, we met on house party through mutual friends. Basically through me lah. Aka
made
met Kirtan through me.
And
Read a
Kiati.
whole
that.
book about the
Kiati, yeah.
racism.
You made a
Read a whole
book
book about racism.
Okay,
My
let's not
thoughts.
lag too much. Let's get to the real stuff. As I was saying, what is racism? Come on, let's go. Aka, go for it.
Me? Yo.
Yeah.
No. Okay. We need a fact check first. Okay. So Ibrahim, you have
Yeah,
the
I'm
you have
checking
the
Cambridge, bro.
dictionary,
I'm
right?
checking.
Let's see the dictionary definition.
Okay, bro.
Whoa, this guy like on Good Morning America or some shit like that, drinking. Oh, well, nice.
So I'm checking oxfordlearnersdictionaries.com. So the first thing they say, the unfair treatment of people who belong to a different race, violent behavior towards them. Let's check the Google. You
Does it
just
make a
search
difference?
basically.
How many definitions?
There is a difference, bro. Okay. Prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against a person or people on the basis of their membership of a particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is a minority or marginalized.
There you go. The
Okay,
definition.
So, basically, guys, the dictionary definition just is that when a person of a different race, he discriminates you based on your race. So, like, based on color, based on how the way you speak, your
Differences
ethnicity,
between
basically.
races, I would say.
Yeah, your ethics. There are different ethics for different races, right? So, like, based on those. And this can get really serious, it's not a light thing to talk about. So I would like to start by saying, why did we even come up with this topic? This issue has been really sparked up in the past few months. and why?
Yeah,
Kirtan, would you
bro.
like to go this one?
Of course, he needs to
right.
go first. He's our guest.
No,
Yeah,
wait.
so the
What
question
I
the?
want
is,
you to talk
Yo,
about it.
yo, hold up, guys. Do you guys just see that? Like Ibrahim drinking from not the straw. Yo, what the fuck
Yes.
was that?
he's trying not to laugh.
I mean,
He's trying not to
you're
laugh.
not. Who drinks water with straw? Come on, it's just normal water. If it's soda,
Bruh,
sweet drinks.
just drink it with the straw that they gave you.
Nah. I'm going to drink without it.
This boomer
Save the
always
turtles,
take
am I
over.
right?
Good luck with the hate later.
Save the turtles, then why you still have the straw? Oh my god. Never mind.
It's turtle from reusable straw.
Okay, let's just start already. Let's start.
All right.
back
So
to the
as I was
topic.
saying, why has this issue been sparked recently all over the world? Everybody's talking about racism. Everybody's trying to fix racism. Everybody's trying to get rid of racism. Why so? Keaton, my man, go for it.
All right, cool. So what I feel is that although racism has existed for probably since the start of humanity, because obviously there are differences in every race, because if it was the same, there would. I feel that it's getting more and more common that people are starting to realize that this is a fault in our system. So especially in
What?
different countries, there have been cases as well.
What was that, bro?
Fault in our stars, yes.
Oh, it's a movie reference.
Oh man.
Alright,
All right, but there's one incident that happened a couple of months ago.
I think the
that
biggest one,
really-
yeah.
Is
The biggest.
did this happen a couple of months ago? You know, can
Oh.
somebody pull up the entire saga in summary and talk about it? But we will start it out. Somebody pull it up. Ibrahim, pull it up. Pull a summary of the entire story.
Okay, so basically, it was we were still in, I think, America. Yes, of course, America, right?
America.
So they were in the
America.
midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. I think it was just announced pandemic that time. Then in a city, Minneapolis, I think if I'm not wrong, is a city in Minnesota. Okay, so it's nearer to Canada. So basically, what happened was there was a video that was going viral showing that put his knee on a black man called George Floyd.
Does anybody know that method of putting their knee? What's it called?
Asphyxiation.
No, I only see police officers putting their knee on their back, but not their neck. On their back only when they handcuff
Yeah.
the criminals.
This is a new method that we're seeing.
If I'm not wrong, that's not a way to arrest someone, right? I think that guy
Yes.
No way to arrest.
the guy just
Even-
created it.
especially okay, basically Mr. George Floyd, he is a black man. He was in a store. I don't find that money. You are.
I mean, everyone
George
knows
Floyd is the
already, bro.
I don't know why do you say it like that? It's like
That's the main point. That's the main point.
no,
I'll kill you if you laugh.
To be honest, that can be seen as racist, bro. The way you
He
said
is a
it,
black
Okay,
man.
okay.
You
No.
like
We are laughing it. It's racist. We are laughing at it like.
no, cause no, you were emphasizing it as if it was like something bad or something like that. You were like, he's a black man. I was like,
Hey
yo,
guys, we are
calm down,
deeply sorry. I mean, we didn't meant to.
We
do it.
don't
not
mean to
laughing
laugh
at
at
Mr.
that.
George
It was,
Floyd.
they just thought
Laughing
the
at
way I
way
said
of-
it. Yeah, they're laughing at me, guys. To be clear, please don't go cancel us, okay? Don't go on social media to cancel Three Birds One Stone.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
all of you are. All don't do this thing to me.
Cancel
Okay,
us,
so
guys.
basically, he is a person of color, and he was in the store just trying to buy some regular groceries. You know what I'm saying? He's just a regular person getting stuff for his kids. And he pulled out, when he was purchasing it, he pulled out a $20 note, which was of a counterfeit one. Now, did he know he was pulling out a counterfeit note, or was it an accident? Was it somebody?
It was
cheated him
actually
and then-
it was a real note when they
It was a real
investigated
one.
it. Yeah,
Yo,
so
this is a new
they,
one, actually.
no,
Oh,
so they
damn.
God, it was real money, guys.
suspect was black. So
I'm lying. Sorry.
Okay.
Did I cut you? I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
no.
Kirtan,
Yeah,
go
that's
for it.
it. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. It was actually real money upon inspection.
Yeah, okay,
so
I'm just finding it out. So The
That's
store
crazy,
guy.
man.
So what's the reason the store guy called the cops on that person? And this store guy is an Asian. He is Muslim, right? Is he Muslim? Is he Arabic?
I think I'm not sure about it, but because
Hassan
in
Minaj
Patriot
said
Act, right?
this on Patriot Act, yeah.
No, but I don't think so. The shop in front of him is the one that he actually came out of. I think it's the shop behind, like past the street
Okay,
or
okay.
opposite of the street. I
Okay,
mean,
so basically,
let's actually talk about the police officers, okay?
yeah, so
there
this
were
guy calls the cops. This guy calls the cops on this guy for God knows what reason, saying that he has counterfeit money when we have just found out that it's not. So who knows why he called on him? And
I
then these
mean, he
cops
has
come, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
he has all the rights to check and stuff, but the way the investigation was done and stuff, they should have checked for the money instead of arresting.
That's right. That's exactly true.
now
So
you may be
these-
asking,
yeah.
why the guy who's taking the video never do anything. So basically in
The girl, by the
America,
way.
right? Okay, girl
Yeah, it's
or
a girl.
guy. Okay, so
Pride Month turn off.
okay, the girl. Okay, records the video, right? If she intervenes in any way, the police might actually shoot her because this happened before, but that happened to mostly Black Americans, Afro
And
Americans.
she was a black American. The lady who was taking the video. Okay, so basically these cops come and then they immediately get Mr. George Floyd. They immediately put him in that position that you're seeing right now, that you have seen on the video. And all these people gather around Mr. George Floyd saying, "Oh, I can't breathe, you're strangling me." He didn't say I'm strangling, I'm just saying he said things like that. He said, I can't breathe at all, I'm feeling suffocated. And all
For
these
9
people around him
minutes.
are saying, for 9 minutes this is happening. And all these people around him can't do anything but take a video. Guys, stop it. He's dying. He can't breathe, he's dying, he's gonna die. Y'all are killing him. His nose is bleeding, and yet they're not stopping. So there are 4 cops at the scene. An Asian man looking at the taking care of the bystanders. The white man, Mr. David Chauvin, doesn't
Derek
even deserve to
Chauvin.
be called. He doesn't even deserve to be called Mr. So we're just gonna be calling him David Chauvin. Oh man, you did
It's
something really
Derek.
wrong, bro.
It's Derek.
Oh, Derek.
Yeah,
Okay, Derek
Yeah.
Chauvin.
Yo, what's with you and David's?
No, but let's make a focus on these police officers. So of
Yeah,
course
these
you
police
have
officers. So wait, name
Derek
the 4 police
Chauvin.
officers for me.
So one you have Derek Michael Chauvin, Thomas Kirtan Lane, another white American, I guess. Then you have J. Alexander Kueng Quang. Don't know how to pronounce his name. And you have Tao Num Thao.
That's the Asian guy, guys. That's the Asian guy, the other guy that you've seen. You probably most.
Alright.
So actually, the lady who didn't stop them, right? She was there when so Mr. George Floyd, after 9 minutes, he passed out, and they called an ambulance for him, and they brought him in the ambulance, and he was pronounced dead in the hospital, right? So, and then this video went out, guys. I think the day it happened, the next day, I think I got the video already. I watched the video. I mean, it's a really sad thing to watch, honestly. But I was super disheartened when I watched it. I was like, yo, this is messed up, guys. This is
Power of
messed
social
up.
media, guys.
I
But guys,
didn't
what's
even
the
watch
thing?
it, I
the
didn't
thing
even
is,
watch
right?
it.
The thing is, when I watched it, right, the first thing that came to my mind was not that this guy is racist. The first thing that came to my mind is this guy is misusing his power. So I feel like before we call anything, we should first look at the sources, right? So is Derek Chauvin an actual racist person? They have to conduct investigative researches on it. So the first thing that came to my mind was police brutality, and he deserved the same severe punishment that
when you first see it is just police brutality to us.
plain police brutality.
Like us people in Asia, because we don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Actually, people in Asia, especially, because like people in America are like so used to this, so used to seeing black people getting destroyed,
Discriminated.
discriminated. Exactly. So like to them, they automatically know like, oh shit, this is racist. This
It's
is
just
racist.
another case of systemic
Yeah, this is
racism.
another case
Police
of black
brutality.
discrimination.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you know why actually I brought up about the police officers? Now I'm actually doing research, okay, on the spot. So
Wow.
so I mentioned this guy's name, J. Alexander King Kang. So I wanted to know what's his ethnicity
Quang.
because he looks a bit like, you know, Latino, Latina, or whatever you call
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Latino.
So I went to check his, and this is what they say from ConanDaily.com. Okay, it says the mystery behind J. Alexander ethnicity was finally unlocked on June 4, blah blah blah, in
Get to the
front
point,
of
bro.
district court, and they say he's a young African American man.
Who? The Asian dude? The guy who looks like an Asian dude?
No, the another guy.
Oh, okay, okay. Derek Chauvin.
So no,
No, no.
Derek Chauvin.
J. Alexander Quang.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
So you have an African American man,
Police officer.
and you also have an Asian man in that scene. So does it really show racism in that sense, or is it police brutality? I actually agree with Sasang. It's more of police brutality, but
So what we're saying, yeah, carry on, carry on.
but the thing is, the black community said we are enough of you killing innocent black lives. So we had enough of this. You guys may think that this is only for is police brutality. Why are people protesting? But the black community had enough because they have faced for what 200 years of racism. Not only that, but I think the first 100 years they were facing and slavery.
Slavery, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And
So
guys, this
they
is
said
was
it's
the
enough.
last. It's the last straw, guys. It's the last straw. They saw Mr. George Floyd like, yo, fuck this. This is the end. We are putting a stop to this fucking bullshit. And so they pulled out all the cases. They pulled out their billboards stating every single name of any black person who died because of police brutality.
And
So you could see
discrimination.
there was the next day onwards, people were like, guys, we need to get on the streets. These people are not getting, Mr. George Floyd, these black people are not getting the justice they deserve.
Unfortunately, in the
Right.
midst of COVID-19. It's like the worst time to protest.
Unfortunately,
yeah.
this happened.
I know.
Yeah, but we will get to that. We'll get to that part. We'll talk about that. But this video went around. It became super viral. People were posting it. Famous people were posting it. Everybody was saying, I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted. Everybody was disgusted. I was disgusted. I'm pretty sure everybody else was. So people were like, this is going to stop from today onwards. So
But
everybody got on the streets.
let's ask
Everybody
Kirtan, what does he feel about this? What's his views on this?
Wait,
What's
we'll
my
get to
take
that.
on it?
I will let me finish my part. So like
Gangster.
protests.
No worries, no worries.
Fighting for
Protest.
screen time.
So
No.
like protests started lah. So that's why I wanted to say. Peace, boys.
Oh,
Protest
okay.
started. That's all you needed to say. What? Okay.
It's your
Maybe Kirtan actually can say what kind of protest and where it's happening. Is it only
Firstly,
in America? Yeah.
Give us your views and carry on with the story.
There we go.
Oh,
This
right.
is
So
America.
right now, I think protests are happening. I think in at least more than 50% of the states in America. Last I heard was that Minnesota is completely gone. There were fire outbreaks, and the fire department had to rescue and stuff. Are these protests really effective in helping and spreading the message? Because from what I know, they have led to more cases of police brutality. Because the police are trying to maintain, and there are a few protesters who start to get violent, causing the police to push back.
But
So-
usually sometimes it's also the
It's like-
police who start.
That's
The
just like
tear
riot
gassing, you know.
control, man. That's just riot
Whenever
control.
sometimes it's the police problem also. So it's their fault also. Because like these people are doing peaceful protests. They get out to do peaceful. Even though they have so much hatred over police. I mean, in some places, I'm pretty sure there has been violence taken on the police.
You
That's
see,
on the police, right? But most
Yeah.
places I'm pretty sure it was a peaceful protest. So I feel like the police was the one who started it. Yeah, okay, go for it.
you see, once again, people who live in Asia. We don't know what's actually going on there. There may be peaceful protests, there may be violent protests, there may be protests that is initiated by the police against violence and stuff like that. The thing is, all we know is all we see from social media and stuff like news. So it's our choice whether we want to believe it. So it could
Yeah.
you can jolly well believe that it's a peaceful protest, or you can believe it's a violent protest, like what Kirtan was saying, that like he got out of hand. Things were getting out of hand. Yeah, so Kirtan, you can continue, man.
What else I know, because I did this in my GP, actually we spent a lesson on Black Lives Matter and racism, is that there was actually another African American lady, I am not sure of her name, but she chose to disagree with the Black Lives Matter campaign, suggesting that so all the protests which were for Mr. George Floyd, right? He should not be put as a hero, because I think like 6 years ago he was arrested and he got released after that, and he was doing methamphetamine and a few other drugs as well
This is
as
Mr. George
illegal
Floyd.
activities. Yep.
It's real news.
Oh.
Let's check it out.
I also heard some past records about Mr. George Floyd, but here's the thing that Nelson Mandela, he's a South African leader. He went to jail for, if I'm not wrong, more than 10 years. And
exactly.
until now, he's considered a nation hero for South Africans, and also a leader that inspires all people, regardless of where you are in the whole world. So it's not about you going to jail for, maybe mistakes. I'm not saying that Mr. Nelson Mandela did any mistake. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he did.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure about
Yes,
it.
he has many offenses. Now I'm looking at it. Is
This is Mr. George Floyd.
the woman that he was
Mr. George
the
Floyd.
woman that Kirtan was talking about, her name is Candace Owens. Basically, yeah, he has actually a record of what call that?
Wait, this is not Mr. George
That's a
Floyd. This
criminal
is
record.
This is Mr. George Floyd.
It's
this
Mr.
is
George
Mr.
Floyd.
George Floyd.
Yeah.
Yeah, who is Candace Owens?
She's the lady that said Mr.
Yeah.
George Floyd shouldn't
Oh,
be portrayed
okay,
as a
okay,
hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think
this lady-
whatever it is, no matter how bad of a person you are, you shouldn't be treated like that. Like
Yeah,
the knee
police
on the neck
brutality.
and like, that's too much.
Wait, so let's make it clear. Mr. George Floyd did what again? Can we just put it that out?
He had
Like,
some drug offenses.
Methamphetamine.
Yeah, he had
Mm.
some
Drug
drug
offenses.
offenses.
After
So
jail.
he
After
sold
jail.
out.
So
After jail.
after
So
the jail
this guy
time.
still- So he has pending offenses now, basically.
He was trying to come clean and stuff in the 5 year span. I think he did revert back to some of the activities, but
He was in rehab.
Okay. Did this happen? Was this taking place this year as well?
over the span of the past 5 years, because he was released.
Can we portray Mr. George Floyd as a hero for sparking an entire nation to protest? Can we be calling him a hero?
I think.
Let's hear from Ibrahim.
Yeah, Ibrahim.
Not so. This is my opinion. Okay, your opinion also matters. You want to feel otherwise, then go ahead. I'm not objecting it. So basically, I feel like George Floyd as a hero, maybe, but I don't think he can come up to the ranks of Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, all those Black American activists. I think another person is Malcolm X. Yeah, Malcolm X.
No, I think
Muhammad Ali. Yeah, I don't think he can go all the way there, but we can actually thank him.
But a change is a change.
Because of him. Yeah,
a change is a change.
Because of him, we had protests and we had more people digging up cases. Murder of Breonna Taylor, the case of Breonna Taylor, the other Black American teens. So yeah.
So I want to say, right? Oh crap! I forgot what I wanted to say. Okay, basically, I feel like it was not because first of all, I think it was more of him being a last straw than him being a hero. Him being a last straw to all these.
It's like Ibrahim straw.
Hey.
It
Right,
was the
very
last
strong.
straw to all this police brutality happening against black people, right? I think it's more of Gen Z being woke, right? You all know the term woke. People are
Yeah.
like equality.
Maybe you wanna
everything equality.
define. Maybe you wanna define Gen Z.
Can someone define Gen Z and staying woke for us?
Ah.
Actually, we check so much definition already, bro. Like, honestly, what is going on?
I think people need to know. Some people out here don't know what's going on.
Generation Z stands for, in short, stands for generation of Zoomers. Basically, it refers to the.
People on Zoom.
Like us.
I wish, man.
Zoomers. We are Zoomers, huh?
It refers to the people that was born between 1997 2012. It is after the last generation, which was Generation Alpha. Basically, I don't know how it works, lah, but it works like that.
Generation A. Okay, they can call themselves Alpha and then they call us Beta.
We are not Z, by the way. No, are we Z? Yeah, we are Z.
Yeah, we are
Yeah,
Z.
we are Z, bro.
What
Oh,
is
yeah.
staying woke, guys?
Ah,
I think we know
shit,
what staying
boys.
woke lah. Let's we don't need to pull out the dictionary definition. Staying woke is basically like
Staying relevant, is it?
change to the world, staying relevant to the world, being supporting many of the movements.
Wake
taking
up your
place.
idea.
Yeah, like
Realizing
wake up
that
your
there's
idea, guys.
something
We
wrong.
need equality. You know, I have mixed feelings about staying woke, but like I think staying woke is what caused the protest to spark. It is what caused
Normally,
the whole
yeah,
movement.
normally it messes up my sleep schedule if I stay woke, which is why I drink coffee and stuff.
Bro, this guy with his jokes.
This guy, man. So yeah, so it's like a wake up call for all of us.
It's like a
Yeah.
wake up call, like, yo,
You know.
let me wrap up the story and then we'll move on to our next segment, right?
Yep.
These protests, like, these people started burning down places. All right, in 10 minutes, we're going to wrap up the story. So these protests happening in America, they slowly spread throughout America, guys. Everybody, famous people, no matter what kind of person you are, there you would be protesting if you're in America right now, unless you're part of the Ku Klux Klan. Which in case, fuck you, honestly.
What
the Ku
clan?
Klux Klan.
Sorry.
Ku Klux
Klux
Klan.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
KKK. Right.
KKK.
Why?
Actually went out in their cars and ran over people who were protesting. Some KKK people.
Wow, for real?
One of them was a KKK leader. Yeah, pull it up. If you need to pull it up.
Pull it out.
So,
They didn't do anything
I
wrong
pull out
to the
pull out
protesters.
kids
I
strong.
Pull out against strong. So if these KKK people didn't do anything to the peaceful protesters, I wouldn't be so. I mean, I'm still disgusted by KKK and what it stands for, but like it wouldn't be so bad, right? But when you actually start like being violent against these protesters, that's when I'm gonna be pissed off. Everybody's gonna be pissed off, right? So these after burning down targets, after burning down game stores, after stealing, looting everything, after so much controversy by Mr. Donald Trump, sure enough, they got their justice. Maybe not complete justice, but they got their justice.
They got a change.
Derek Chauvin, he got arrested. He's now changed from blue to orange. But
And his wife divorced him. So
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So obviously, like, she didn't divorce him even after then. I think the whole nation will hit her also. So I think she was pressurized.
I mean-
getting divorced.
I mean,
he's not getting any more pussy, so jokes on him. But neither are we, so jokes on us.
oh, yo. That's why we are talking about it here, right?
That's
So
right.
after so much protest, the judicial state of US, they had to change. They had to give justice to these people. If not,
We change
America would be
laws
ruined.
and
The
shit.
economy would be. Walmart will be celebrating when Target got burned, so they can't celebrate for too long, right? So these people had to get justice.
Right.
You know what I mean? Try to put a joke in there. It didn't really work, but okay. So
All
I
right.
got a joke,
after
but
many such things happening, many fires, many "This is America" times congratulations TikToks,
This is
finally
America.
they have finally gotten their justice.
Childish
So
Gambino, shout out.
it's a little song. Check it out.
Childish
no,
So
I don't
I
think think they still get the justice yet. I mean,
Why?
they got justice
I mean, there's a lot to
for
do to
George
fight.
Floyd.
There's a lot to do to
but
fight
it's not a
against.
perfect.
but it's not a justice for the whole black community.
It's not
in
something
my-
that will be solved overnight, lah.
Yeah,
Gotta give it some time.
they have the Civil Rights Movement Act that was signed by President Lyndon B. Johnson. Of course, it happens during the Civil Rights Movement in 1960s around there. So, but there are still police officers who are actually racist, who actually target black people. And
do
you
you
know
guys know
what's
the?
actually?
Oh, wait, sorry. Continue.
I mean, you can go first. You can go first.
Just
No,
feel free
it's
to
just an
interrupt.
example. Oh no, it's an
Okay.
example. It's an example.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. No, just say, just
So
say.
basically, right? What's actually this? Are more liberal. They are more like anti-racist. But Minneapolis is a city governed by a democratic politician. So you
Okay.
see, they are not actually checking on the police officers that much. I know it's hard because the mayor stays on top. Like I always say, the mayor stays on top. We are down. Of course, you will not see what's beneath him. But he should. I'm saying the government in United States should make a system. But I'm no one to say also. I'm not an American citizen to actually talk about it also. So yeah, Kirtan.
Oh yes, I was going to talk about how Minneapolis itself has the word police in it. No, I'm just kidding. What I wanted to bring, I think there's
Yeah,
we looked up on the George Floyd case. We looked up on George Floyd's case, and we found out one of the officer was also African American. And there was another trending video where I think there were officers who were trying to arrest another black person that turned out to be an FBI agent.
Oh yeah, that was so
Who then
dope.
asked
Yeah,
for
Oh
their-
yes.
Yeah.
That
yeah,
video was
exactly.
actually dope.
yeah.
Basically whatever
Yeah,
Sasang
so-
said lah. Yeah.
That's we wrap up the story. Aka, do you have anything to say?
No.
Final thoughts, bro.
For real? You have any thoughts on this? Your
Okay,
thoughts.
I wanna
that's all,
talk
guys.
about-
That's
no,
all
no,
for the
listen.
podcast.
Listen, I want to talk about the whole, not, but I'm lagging. Am I lagging? I want to talk about all lives
Yeah,
matter.
yeah,
Bit lah, bit.
Because there's Black
All
Lives
lives matter,
Matters
okay.
and then there's the opposition.
All
Where it
lives
goes
matter.
all lives matter. I don't know much about it, but I would like to share about it. Whole movement.
Actually,
You know what?
I got
Aka, you
I
go
got
for
a.
it. Aka, go for
Yeah,
it.
you go
tell me
for it.
you give us your insights on it, then we'll go ahead. Ibrahim and I and Kirtan go for it, since you brought it up.
Basically, all life matters believes that all lives matters.
Hmm.
And that Black Lives Matters, the black's life shouldn't be, how to say, valued more than the other lives of the other people, different ethnicity and race. So wait, did I lag off again?
Yeah, you
Oh,
lagged
I
out.
didn't-
Your
I didn't
Wi-Fi is
Yeah.
getting lagged. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, and a lot of people say all life matter is stupid, lah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now, I personally think that anyone who has ever said all lives matter before really didn't do their research. Why has the lives matter thing, the Black Lives Matter thing, come about in the first place? So, like, before you say that you're supporting something, please do complete research on it. Because sometimes what you're supporting is really pretty stupid. Because I'm not trying to offend people who have said all lives matter, but I'm saying, think again. Why did Black Lives Matter start? Why did the Lives Matter thing start? Nobody ever said all lives matter before they said Black Lives Matter. All lives matter only started when Black Lives Matter. Why did Black Lives Matter start? Because black people were being discriminated than other races. So if a house is on fire, let's just say this house represents black people. I read this on a post, right? Let's just say this burning house represents black people. And right beside that, there's a very fresh house. Nothing's wrong with it. It's really sweet.
So if you say all life matters, why don't you also?
That is white people. That's white
Yeah.
people's house. It's like saying, since all lives matter, I'm going to water down both houses. Right? Like, what are you trying to extinguish on the White House by saying all lives matter? Not the that just became
The
White
White-
House.
Yeah. Yeah.
White House matters.
FBI open up.
Okay, by the white people's house, right?
Man.
So when you're saying all lives matter, you're trying to say let's water down both houses
Yeah.
because all lives matter. But
Basically,
bro, that house is not even on fire. Why are you saying all lives matter?
unnecessary.
Exactly. Kirtan, how about Kirtan? How do you feel about
right.
this?
I feel like, you see, the people who are with All Lives Matter, they're not wrong. I mean, like, we know that Black Lives Matter came about because there are more cases of it on social media. So I've
Yeah.
never really seen, I mean, recently there are a few new cases of police brutality, like in South India and a few other places. But the thing is that I think Hassan Minhaj, he covered it when he attended a protest.
Yeah.
He tried to
Honestly,
explain the idea of
Hassan Minhaj,
Black Lives Matter. Yeah.
yeah, he spoke a lot about Black Lives Matter, and we'll get to it. The meeting is about to end. We'll be moving on to another segment.
Ciao.
Ciao. See you all.
Hey, we still have 1 minute, bro.
No, we have less than a minute. All right, guys, you're back. We're going to be wrapping up about the Black Lives Matter thing. All right, so when Hassan Minhaj made his take on this Black Lives Matter thing, right, and Mr. George Floyd protest, he said that many people who were involved in the murder of Mr. George Floyd were actually Asians. Okay. So one of the cops was Asian. The seller
And so we
was
are going back.
yeah, the seller was allegedly an Asian, and all these Asian people, right? So when we think that only white people, it was this a fight only between white people and black people, or black people and the nation. No, it's actually a fight between everyone, because Asian people were involved, but did they do anything? No, I don't think so. Right?
Wakanda forever, am I right?
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, are we going to wrap up about the whole Black Lives Matter thing, or we are bringing
Yeah, we're
the
wrapping
Black
up.
Lives Matter
So
to Singapore?
No,
Yeah, we
he
bring
mentioned
it
about
up.
Asian, so I think he's going into the Singapore one.
yeah,
You just ruined his
Can you-
perfect
can you-
slide in, bro.
yeah, bro. What the hell is this shit? I really
Because
feel
I
like
have a
punching
thing
you right
about the, I have a thing about the Singapore
Just continue. This is
perspective,
content, guys.
but whatever.
We
Okay,
take no
so-
second cuts.
If you're until
There's-
here and you still haven't subscribed, what the hell are you doing? Turn on the
Like
post
it.
notification as well.
Yo, my man, giving us a shout out.
Press
Hey,
the
yo.
notification bell.
Alright.
Do we even
Press
have
the bell,
notification
boy.
bell, boys?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah,
We should
yeah.
Okay.
Everybody
Shit,
has.
right.
Okay, so this sparked a worldwide, thing about racism, right? People are having tough conversations with their family. So what are these tough conversations? So basically, you'll ask your parents, are they racist? Obviously, most of their parents will say they're not. Ibrahim, what's your face like that?
Bro, can you just
Showing more
continue?
expression.
Are you
Ibrahim's
trying to be
racist.
When you put your
racist?
face like that, I cannot talk lah.
Are you trying
He's
to
trying
be
to show
racist?
because
Huh?
people say
are you
that
discriminating me?
he has no emotions on his face.
Yeah, so
He's trying to show
is
some
everybody
emotion, bro.
are your parents really not racist? Is everybody really clean of racism?
You're asking me?
I'm trying to say lah, when like
Or
It's a rhetorical question. Don't fuck it up, please. Please, man. Don't fuck it up, man.
honestly,
Yeah,
y'all are messing this shit up, I swear.
yeah.
You know how he was
It's
perfect from
Ibrahim
the
lah.
start, and then we asked, "Are we gonna go in?" And that's when we messed up his chain. Yeah.
No. We continue. We keep going, okay?
So
Alright,
like
so what are we talking about next?
everybody is not really
I'm sorry, bro.
that familiar.
I keep fucking you up.
Everybody is not really that into equality, Okay, would they like that? Or can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
He lagged out in the middle.
yeah.
Okay, so not everybody is like completely free of racism, right? Like if you go up to your parents right now and ask them, "Yo, can I marry a black person?" Right? What will their
Hold up.
answer be? Go think about
My
it.
face will be
Is he rich?
Then you'll understand whether your parents are racist or not, whether your parents believe in equality or not. I wouldn't say it's really believing in equality. It's more of whether they're comfortable with all races, right?
I think it's a
So-
question of other factors as well. For example, like
Yeah.
different races might have different
Prejudice.
ethnicities.
On
And-
ethnicities.
Food is a difference as well. So I mean, if people are willing to so-called adapt and compromise, then no problem. But for example, if Sasank, if you marry a so-called black person, right?
Mhm.
So
So-called?
you guys might
Okay.
yeah.
You
So
will
it's like
marry a black
you guys
person,
have a
okay.
different taste in food and stuff. So would that
Yeah, there's a lot of
you don't want
differences.
too much differences to cause like, oh, we have different points, so we get a divorce or something. So that's what the parents are concerned about. But
Okay.
I think
Yeah, I see that. But are they concerned about
That's
their
the other
legacy,
side of you. Like, that's the another side.
about their their about them getting diluted, right? About their ancestral line getting diluted by this. Are they worried about that? Because you shouldn't be.
But with that,
worried about it.
with that said, there are a lot of like interracial marriages, especially in countries.
Especially in
think you lagged
Singapore. If you see your
especially in Asia.
friends, yeah, if you see your friends, I think Brendan, our past years, he's a mixed. His father is
yeah.
Indian, his mother is
It's Indian.
Chinese. Actually, in Singapore, you can actually see a
A lot. Yeah,
not
there's
really a lot,
Peranakan.
but you can see that
Yeah,
there
there's a
are
lot.
actually mixed races. Yep. But actually, let me still talk about the Black Lives Matter. I'm coming to a close. Okay, I'm coming to a
It's not
close.
done.
Okay.
Okay.
The part about Singaporeans is they're saying all these things about the Black Lives Matter and everything. I'm not saying don't do it, but you got to know about the context also, because you're just posting online, but you don't really know what's happening with the Black
Tag
Lives
12
Matter.
friends. Tag 12 friends to end the racism.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
white girl who's like reposting racism.
I think that the whole point of that is not to end racism. I mean, as much as it says that, it is more
raise
of like
awareness.
raise awareness. Yeah, more people
Yeah,
know about it.
but like again, it lost in the cause, and the thing is,
Yeah.
Singaporeans, you can actually support them, but you cannot fight for them. Because at the end of the day, if there's a major law bill, it's only the Americans can do it. It's not the Singaporeans. We can just support them,
Pressurize
clap
the
them,
American government,
yes.
You can
but we
pressurize the
don't.
American government.
This is actually the Americans' fight. Do you think the Americans will come to our fight against any issues in Singapore?
I
No.
don't think
I
so.
mean, no.
I mean,
I
we are
hope
a
so,
small
man.
country. Yeah, but
I hope so, man. They'll be
I
like,
hope
oh
so,
wait,
but I don't think it
Singapore.
will happen.
They'll be like, oh wait, Singapore. Wait, is that in China?
yeah, exactly.
That's
They'll be
a
like
real
that,
thing.
yeah.
That's
Americans only.
that's
I feel like a good majority of Americans believe that they're the only country that exists
or
in the world.
they believe Asia is inside
Dude,
China.
oh my god, he
They
lagged
believe
out.
the whole of
lagging.
Asia is inside China. No man, I said a good line. Yeah man, screw that.
So, talking about racism in Asia. Oh, wait, sorry, please continue.
No,
That's
I was about to say that, but yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Just fight for screen time lah, might as well.
Okay.
La. Okay, so what are we supposed to do?
We should come to speaking about racism in Singapore, right? Let's talk about racism around the world and let's scope it down to Singapore. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, let's go.
Okay,
Hi, welcome to Singapore. Do you think we are
so
racist?
in
You
Singapore,
guys
right?
stop
They
first.
are
You guys stop first. I need to on the fan.
mainly I would say, how many races are there? There are mainly 4 races, right? There's the Eurasian race, there are the Malays, the Indians, then there are the Chinese.
Yeah, the mixed people are like.
What is wrong with you? We
That's
forgot
okay.
others.
Who?
Others is a race. Others is
Oh
a
boy,
race.
it's deadgy here.
Did you just assume their race?
No.
It's 20.
No,
So
dude,
what were we
isn't
talking
it?
about, guys?
Dude, isn't it? No, it said the main races in Singapore is Malay, Chinese, Eurasian.
Again, you are
Yeah,
lagging.
okay.
So like
Yeah,
there's
this guy is
Malay,
lagging.
Chinese, Eurasian, and Indian.
And got others, right?
Got
Yeah,
others,
like,
right? Others, which is everybody else.
That's what I'm talking about.
But
yeah,
these
exactly.
main-
So you
these are
cannot
actually the
forget them,
4
bro.
races.
I belong there.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
God
relax
damn it.
now.
You should actually see that these 4 races were like the original to Singapore. They came first.
Okay,
Our
let's start
IC says
with
others. Oh, just kidding.
let's start with racism that you've experienced. Everybody, like, give me one incident where you have faced racism. Akash, start first.
Me,
Dude, honestly, tell us about your secondary school story. Your
I
racism
faced
that you
racism in
faced.
secondary school.
Yeah, you did what?
wait, he went to
In your
secondary
CCA.
school.
Went to secondary. My CCA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bro, can you just continue? Like, what happened? Like in secondary school, do you face any racism?
Hey, I cannot remember lah.
Actually, because
Bro,
to
you're
me,
track and
I
field.
take.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to talk about
He
it.
just got
That
PTSD.
was
He was like,
shading, right? That was shading the person, right?
Who cares?
Bro.
This is what we're all about. Go for
don't
it.
mention their name.
Don't mention their name and we are all good.
Alright, so
Go for it.
Or
basically,
mention their name and cancel
Wait, everybody
them
shut up.
out.
Everybody shut up. Everybody shut up. Let's just
So
calm.
basically, I used to be in track and field when I was in secondary one.
Okay.
And then we had a coach.
No wonder you got disqualified from the race. Like, talk so slow.
Sorry, lah.
It's direct.
Yeah,
It's inversely
basically-
proportional to his speed.
No, that's too smart for us. Okay, calm down. No, I'm just kidding. I get it. Anyways, so wait, what? Yeah, so there's this coach lah. I don't know. Everyone likes him. Actually, any track senior that sees this or anyone from track, don't hate me, okay? You guys may like him. I don't know. I'm different. So basically, he was kind of a racist person lah. I would say, like, he uses terms like Pinoy, that kind of stuff lah. So he said something about my race lah, Burmese something. Then later I was like, I forgot what it was actually, but never mind. So he said something about my race lah. Then I was hurt lah, but I didn't say anything lah. Then later like I just felt like I was very picked on lah.
You need to say
Like,
what he said, bro. You need to tell us what he said.
Was he aware? Was he
No,
aware
no,
of
no.
your race when he?
I don't want to say if SK is the wrong thing, you see.
Say something
The
along
wrong
the
word.
lines. What exactly did he insult about you?
I cannot remember, bro. It's so long ago. But like Burmese
Dude,
something
it's
lah.
okay. We know he might have said you talk very slow. That's alright. Yeah.
Never mind. Sasa, it doesn't matter basically. So basically, what call that? He said like, he said something about race. Like, I was offended lah. But then like, I already resolved it lah with the teachers and just talked to the coach, and then I left the CCA lah. End of the story.
Mm.
But I'm sure now he's much better lah. I would say, amongst the students.
There's a closure lah to it.
Yeah. Anybody next? Kirtan, you want?
Ibrahim, no, we'll ask Ibrahim first, then we'll go to our special guest.
Okay. Homework first.
Actually, I have two experiences. One in primary school. So my name is Ibrahim. No shit, right? So, but what people call me then
So
was
you
black
have
bra.
constipation.
Wait, you have constipation. Wait, how does that have to do
No
with
shit,
constipation?
right? No shit, right?
Oh, okay, I get it. I get it.
Okay,
Yo,
Sorry, please
some
continue.
quality.
Yeah. So they actually call me black bra.
Okay.
One,
What?
one the skin of
What?
the color of my
Oh,
skin,
What?
and the Ibrahim, the bra part.
Wait, who said that? Like a 3-year-old kid or what? Yo, that's just
really bad.
They are all P5s and P6, bro. And you know what's more significant about it? I didn't care when the Chinese actually called me that. But what I mind was the Malay/Muslims, they know that my name is after a prophet's name, but they still went to ridicule it and say black bra. Then I actually stand up to them.
funny.
I was
It
like,
lacks creativity.
I was
The name
like,
lacks creativity. Yeah,
I was like, bro, what are you talking? You're calling me black? Black? Do you even see black or not? You are exactly blind. You can only see black stuff, okay? You're effing blind, bro. You don't know what the hell is black. I was so emotional about it. Then I actually showed them, bro, look at my hand and your hand skin. It's the same color to actually the Malays. Some of the Malays in my class. So I was like, I feel, these people wouldn't even care. I actually stand up to those and they didn't even learn. So I just concluded saying that, why must I argue with stupid people? I will become more stupid lah. So I'm like, you know what? I just
Ibrahim,
ignore them lah.
guess what their girlfriend wears now?
Okay.
Your Sasang's mother come in the room. Hello, auntie.
Welcome to the podcast.
Auntie.
Okay.
Auntie,
You say
welcome.
nama.
Special
Right,
guest
right.
experience. Then your mom comes in. Your mom comes
Then
in.
this is second experience.
To you. Your mom
Second
comes in,
experience
it's good,
in secondary school. So what happened was, I told you guys before in the first episode of this show that
So you've already shared this. Okay, moving on.
No,
So
no, no. I said that the class was actually, I felt like they were against me and everything. So actually, I was sitting in the back row. Then I was actually surrounded by Chinese-speaking individuals, or I can just say Chinese students, and they were just talking Mandarin, whatever dialects they are talking around me, and they were actually looking at me. So of course, I will perceive it as if like
It's
they
about
are
you,
talking
you know.
bad, yeah, against me. I mean, I don't understand Mandarin, but if you look at me, you give me some stare, and you talk Mandarin in front of me, and you guys are surrounded around me, of course I will feel that you are talking bad
intimidated.
against me.
That's
What
actually
I
really
actually thought,
true. That's
I
actually
Isn't
actually,
really
Mandarin
true.
a fruit?
I actually stand up against them, and they
Actually, no,
said,
no,
"No,
no.
we are not
Mandarin is
talking
about
about
you.
you. Why you actually care?" And again, the minority students in my class didn't even stand up. They were actually supporting the
Wait,
Chinese
but they were
students.
crippled? Because you said
Well,
they
what is
couldn't stand up.
That time I remember my leg pain. That time, legit my leg pain. I was wearing a bandage. I couldn't stand up. And I'm sorry,
Sorry,
bro.
please continue. Yeah.
Okay,
Lucky
that's
I'm
it.
not, bro.
That's it. Your leg, you got band-aid. That's
the
it.
Yeah
Okay,
lah.
no?
Then I
Because
cannot
he
stand
said
up
stand up,
lah.
okay,
So I'm
Kirtan,
like,
tell
I
us, bro. Okay, Ibrahim, yeah, wrap it up.
yeah,
It was just
okay,
quite
I will
funny
wrap
to
it
me
up.
lah.
But also, I
Yeah.
felt like, okay, you know what? The minority people, they are like, hey, I don't want to get involved in your stupid fight all. But I'm like, this is not a stupid fight. Okay, many people actually think that the Chinese are the only one who's actually pinpointing and making racist remarks on the minority groups. But no, even the Malays, some of the Malays actually make racist remark on me. And I'll be honest, I made some racist remarks also.
Plot
But
twist.
but the thing is, I actually
Dramatic
make
effect.
racist remarks, as in racist jokes, in front of the people who the race is, and I just tell them the race. I you know what? My
You
speech
brain
is,
fart already, bro.
yeah.
You're
You know
getting
what?
too
Let's
emotional.
go to
Too
Kirtan.
emotional.
Let's go to Kirtan, bro. Let's go to Kirtan. Allow it, fam. Allow it.
I'm just kidding. Ibrahim, you
Allow
want
it,
to wrap
fam.
it up
Allow it.
properly?
Cancel that kid.
I think
Cancel
what
that
he's
kid.
trying to say is even the people who were of the same race, they gave in to the pressure and didn't stand up with him just so that they wouldn't also be targeted by the so-called other people who were targeting him. So I feel like in such cases, like their friends, your so-called friends, right? They should obviously stand up with you.
Oh
And
God, again.
yeah,
I trying to say you got no real friends.
no, cause like
He never even
yeah,
say real friends. He said
cause he said the friends
friends.
like didn't
Oh yeah.
stand up for him. They were like, we don't want to
My
get
bad.
involved. So are they really
Yeah.
friends?
So yeah,
Yo,
so
don't say like that lah. Don't say like that lah,
Kirtan,
bro.
tell us about your
How can we be friends?
experience. Tell us about your
Bro, I'm
experience.
not.
Alright,
I'm
so
not actually talking about Aka or Sasang. Yeah, you guys were totally different classes. I'm talking when I
Okay
was in
lah,
Singapore.
enough lah, day. Enough of your story already. I'm tired already. Come, you talk about Kirtan now.
Yeah, F you.
okay, so before I tell the story, right, let me make this clear. I have made racist jokes. I still do make racist jokes, alright? See, who I make it with, right, is what's important. If I make it with my friend and we're having a good time, because it's like so insignificant that we talk about it. It's not like I go to him like, no, but it's like we accept it and we're like mocking each other, right? So I do make TikToks about it as well. So all those people who try to cancel me, not the point, but I have a point here. Arkar himself was also a racist. He used to be in track and field, and he was running before he quit. So he's against racism now. But anyways, I have a similar experience to Ibrahim in my OBS camp actually, because we went with another school, and the thing was that for all the boys, I was the only Indian boy, and the other school was a girls' school. So there were no boys. So I was the only Indian boy and everyone else was Chinese. No problem with that. I have dealt, not so-called dealt, I've been in several situations before. But the thing was that throughout perhaps the entire camp, all of them were mostly communicating in Mandarin. So I was a little left out and stuff. But yeah, so I don't think that's kind of cool, you know?
Yeah.
And it's intentional. It's not like they weren't good in English. And the worst part is that they were from my school itself. So I actually knew some of them, like not personally, but like I knew like, oh, they existed, you know. So it was kind of sad.
And it
But
happens.
other than that, racism that I've dealt with, it's
Then Sasan,
probably
start
I
your
think,
story already, bro.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
That's about it. But
Wait,
when it
wait,
comes to me, I
Sasang,
have
Sasang.
faced. Yeah, what?
Can I just say something? Hey, remember that time we went on Omegle,
Yeah.
and then later there was a random bunch of like teenagers, and then later when they saw you, and then they just went, "Whoa," and then they did like Indian accent,
Yeah. So it's like,
You remember
these
that?
people.
Damn funny.
Actually, all this actually is common. Racism
Why
and Omegle is common. At this point, you just have to
Trolling, man.
exist. People like this exist, right? So
It's
basically, that
trolling.
day, Aka and I went on Omegle, and we were like together lah. And then we were skipping through
Wait,
people.
you guys are together?
No.
As in together, as in
Ethan,
like
don't.
we were like
Don't
together
assume.
on the Omegle lah, Jesus.
Ah, okay.
Okay. So we were like going through people, and then these people like randomly I came across. So they saw that I'm Indian, right? They automatically like they started doing this. Like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah, and then
That's not.
they're acting like monkey, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
like if you're gonna do it,
I don't
do
think
it properly. It's like this.
Exactly. It's like this.
Do it right if you're gonna do it. You
Don't
don't do like
think so.
this, man.
Exactly.
That's know your shit, fam.
Your shit when you're being racist.
That's
Be
right.
racist
If
also
you're
learn how
going,
to be racist properly.
yeah, it's like if you're joking around, then like do it properly. You
And then
don't like
imagine being
offend
accidentally racist, man.
Guys, by the way, if you all cannot take sarcasm, whatever, we are actually joking
Honestly,
about this, okay?
why are you saying that?
yeah.
That is sarcasm.
Bro,
So
yeah.
that's one of the incident lah. Another incident, I'll name a few incidents real quick. Another incident was I was in Sec 1. I was doing FCE, and then we were casually talking about our parents. Then shut the hell up, Aka. Not funny, bro. This is a serious time signal that you're using this comedy. Okay.
Oh,
In Sec 1, there was this FCE lesson, right? And then my teachers were we were talking about our parents, and then my teacher was like, she said something along the lines of, "I know Indians drink a lot, your father must be drinking a lot." She said something along those lines. And I was like, my father. Wait, first of all, my father doesn't drink alcohol. By the way, not just any random liquid. My father doesn't drink alcohol, but that's not the point, right?
Must be
First
so
of all, why are you
dehydrated.
Oh
assuming?
shit.
Why are you assuming that only Indians drink alcohol? Like just because like you don't drink and you think like a certain race doesn't drink alcohol and like refrains from it, doesn't give you
I
the
don't
right to
think
say
Jews
that.
drink alcohol, right? Because they're probably dead or something.
What?
Okay, never mind.
Yo, that's a dark joke, man. That's
Oh
just
my
dark.
god.
Oh my god.
That was a joke. I have a
Cancel
dark-
him! Cancel him, guys. That's not that joke. Just cancel him. No, I'm just kidding. Don't fucking cancel
So
him.
like there was this
Continue.
teacher like how does it give you the right to say that Indians drink? Like okay, it might be
Yeah.
true to some extent. Doesn't mean you can like literally say that all
Coming
Indians
from a
drink.
teacher.
There are so many Indians, and this coming from a teacher, and she's telling a Sec 1 person who probably doesn't.
Wait, what's
even
her
know
name?
how
What's her
stand
name?
up
I
for
want to
himself.
know her name.
Bruh, you're very funny, huh?
Wait,
What
is
the hell?
it the Chinese one or the Malay one?
The Malay one.
Whoa! Is this racism over here?
Okay.
No,
it's the truth. It's the truth.
Yeah. So
That's
like,
fine.
Wait.
like
Secondary
that.
school, this one.
Yeah. What? Can you listen or not when I'm telling you a story?
Sorry, boss.
Okay.
Ye
Another
kya hai?
one was.
What is this?
I think in primary school, right? I was doing something, and I was just casually doing something. I think I talked too much or something. That's it, bro. She came out to me and then she was like, sorry, you're in Singapore. We do it the Singaporean way over here, not the Indian way. I don't know what's the Indian way. Yeah, we do it the Singaporean way over
If
here.
she was
So-
referring to
wait,
eating prata with
what?
sugar, she can stuff it up. No one
Dude,
eats
have you
it with
guys
sugar.
tried prata with what call it, condensed milk? That shit is good.
Oh
man.
yeah.
Okay,
Condensed milk.
Okay,
I,
I was
call
I, eat
yourself
it, I eat it
Indian?
with coconut milk.
I like how you're diverting from my story. I will legit fuck you, honestly.
Sorry. Yo, what?
Sorry, I
No,
started. Sorry.
no sexual
Yo,
content.
no, hell.
Wait, what did I
I'm out,
say?
guys.
I said,
said
wait,
I'll
what
legit
did
fuck
I
you.
say?
I feel out.
No, I didn't say that.
You said,
No,
he
you
said
did,
I'll
you
legit
did.
fuck you. Yo, we have it on recording.
I said, I'll legit
Anyways.
fuck you lah. I said, I'll legit fuck you.
I'm straight, man. Sorry, consent matters.
I said, legit, fuck you.
Ah.
Say no to rapists.
Sorry, please continue with your
so-
story.
Okay,
Just
I'm sorry
continue
for
with your
using so
story,
many profanities, but yeah, I was doing in my primary school, bro, and I don't even know how to stand up for myself. And I know this is racism, but I don't know how to complain, you know. And then I was like, hey, what the hell? I was telling my friends, even my friends were like, hey, what the hell? What did he just say to you? What does he mean by Indian way? What's Singaporean way? She was like, I think I was talking with my friends, and then she came up to me and I was like, I don't know what you're thinking of, but this is Singapore, so you must do it the Singaporean way, not the Indian way. I don't know what's the Indian way. And then I got really pissed off lah.
Now you want to see the Indian way, lah.
So like I didn't know how to stand up for myself back then. So like I was really hurt by it. Like personally, I really felt insecure about like what the hell is the Indian way? You know, this sort of shit can really make you feel super shitty. So I was like, no, the next time this happens, I'm gonna really like stand up for myself. You know, what the hell is Kirtan doing?
Let me calculate how right she was. Oh, look, it says 0. Ta-na-na-na-na.
So the same thing happened in Sec 3, right? But I don't know if this was racism. It was more of discriminating people. It was more of like saying, "Oh, you're rubbish." The teacher just said, "You're rubbish, you're rubbish. You're trash. You're nothing more than trash." I was like, "Yo, what the hell is this?" So like that was when I stood up for myself. Lah. That was when I complained.
Can you
to
get some
teachers.
context, like background context? Like,
So I was in this Tamil class, right? And I don't take Tamil, so I'm just sitting at the side.
Oh,
Yeah.
with
So
me,
then
bro.
there's this teacher that is a relief teacher, and he's temporary. So he comes into class, he's doing some random things, and then I think we're not studying. or something.
Random things.
So he just comes up to us and then say that y'all don't study, y'all end up you'll end up like a trash can. You're a trash can. You're garbage.
imagine being a relief teacher. You're
We were
already a
just-
trash can.
You were just
Yeah, what the hell? Even my virtual background cannot take it already. It's showing its truth now.
yo. You see how?
That's not the
Yo,
truth.
are you hallucinating or what, bro? Anyways,
Yeah,
but
I complained to the teacher that this where it comes real now. I complained to the teacher. I wrote an entire statement. You know, people like me, we shouldn't be writing statements. You know, we can just complain. We should be just able to like straight up front complain. But I guess
I
people
see
need
it's,
proof.
it's
lah.
words.
People need
It's
proof.
words against words. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
tough.
yeah.
to see.
So like I wrote an entire letter to the school, and then weeks later, these people come to me and say, sorry, this teacher was temporary. I like that you raised it up to us. I'm so sorry that we had to go through it, but he is not part of the school, and we don't want to make this an issue. Listen, guys, he said we don't want to make this an issue.
So the school stood up against racism.
Cancel Changkat. Hi.
Hey, yeah, Changkat. Hi.
Oi, oi, oi.
Oh, thanks, let's go, bro. I was waiting
What
for our
the-
school to get promoted or something.
Basically, like this is not just my school. You know, many schools don't stand up against racism. You see, and it's you for yourself or your friends for you. You know, most of
It
the
starts
time
with
you
the
have to
students.
deal with it. It
Yeah, it
starts,
starts with the students, you know. Yeah, students
Yeah.
must stand up first. They must tell the management, bro. If the
But it's
school,
hard,
the
you know,
leaders, the
students-
teachers don't
the
know.
teacher should teach students to stand up, bro. The
If
teacher
you
should
need help to stand up, I got you, fam.
How does he get all this
Yeah, how
stuff?
does it all this shit on
It's
standby,
on
bro?
my
no,
table.
no.
What do you mean? If
Bro,
I've made a mistake, I'm sorry. I need to cancel it away.
Oh my god.
Get out of here, bro. Get out of here, man. Cancel it,
So
fam.
basically, I feel like schools will never teach students to raise. Don't teach. Not never lah. Probably after watching this podcast, everybody will start teaching them. But like, I feel like schools don't teach. Ibra, what the hell? Why are you sleeping?
Yo, he's relaxing at the scenery, lah, bro.
You ever go to the
Yeah,
beach and you see that
exactly.
one uncle sitting?
So I feel like
Relax and
Oh, 10 minutes.
yeah,
again.
it's okay. It's okay. We'll wrap up my story and then we'll go on. I feel like first of all, teachers and the schools, people don't know what's actually racism. Like I've had my teacher, right? One day he came into my class and then we were talking randomly, and then he says, "No, lah, Sasang, you're actually pretty handsome, lah. You're pretty handsome for an Indian." I'm like, bro, I don't think that's compliment when you say it like that. When you say that
For an
someone
Indian.
is handsome for a certain race, that is not a compliment, guys. Get this in your head. Get this in your head,
He was
please.
maybe trying to say all Indians are good looking, but you look extra good looking.
Like, how if we say for a Chinese, you're actually dumb.
Yeah, exactly. That is racist.
For a Malay,
Yeah.
you're actually smart.
Yeah, exactly. That is racist.
Yeah.
No,
so
that's
like
just like
things like
prejudice.
you might be
Stereotype.
indirectly complimenting the person, but in the end you're still being racist, and this person, he might not be hurt because he doesn't really get what some people might not be hurt by it. Some people will be like, oh
You
shit,
can see for a Chinese.
I'm actually pretty
face.
smart for a Malay, but then some people will, which is wrong lah.
Kirtan, told you no. I continue.
But like some people will not notice, just like what I said. Some people will, but for the people who don't notice, I need to understand when somebody compliments you by saying like, oh, you're smart for being whatever
Burmese.
race. You're
Burmese.
handsome for being whatever race, you're pretty for being whatever race.
How if someone
Yeah,
says
yeah.
that you
I was just trying to get my
wow,
race
you look
included, bro.
you look like a human for
Right,
foreign
sorry.
something.
Oh, what?
Honestly, I
Harambe,
feel
not for
like,
No.
Harambe.
you know, it's like
Ibrahim, you look good for monkeys. I'm sorry.
you look good.
Too far.
You look good. For a monkey.
That's exactly what you were talking about. You said you look good for humans.
You look good for a human. What the hell? So when people actually say that, right,
No,
please
yeah,
understand
go
that
ahead,
it's nowhere near a compliment. It's nowhere near a compliment. It's so far away. It's an exact opposite of a compliment. He's straight up being
You
racist
see?
towards your whole race, your whole community.
And you know what to do when he's being racist towards your whole
Oh yeah,
community?
actually, Ibrahim,
You go to YouTube.
Yeah,
And
what's
that you
up,
should
bro? What's
search
up?
up Three Birds.
Ibrahim,
One
you know
Stone.
that night when we went to the party, we went to the party at that. Okay, Kirtan, what were you saying? Kirtan, my bad. What were you saying?
Kirtan was giving us a freaking like a promo, you know, like
Really,
advertisement in between. He's like, if you don't know how to, what I say, you don't know how to read racism.
If he insults you and you are like, nah, fam, this isn't it, go to YouTube, you search up Three Birds, One Stone show. And you who just saw it,
Three Birds, One Stone Productions, guys.
you're like a retard or something. I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure I offended some people by saying that. I'm sorry.
Yo.
Okay,
Somebody call a
Ibrahim, do you remember
computer.
that night when we went to the party at the Ajay's house?
No, to be honest, no. No.
Okay,
Okay,
so
let's go
basically,
to the next
that
topic.
night- No,
That's
that night
because
when we
Abraham.
went to
just
that.
okay, I'm just
No,
joking.
wait,
I'm
that
just
night when
joking.
we bro, listen to me. That night when we went to that
Okay.
party, right? They were actually kind of discriminating us, if you believe it or not.
Yeah, I can totally see it, bro.
Right.
I'm just like, you know what? I just want to eat there, lah. They give us
Ibrahim, you
food,
look
lah.
high. Are you okay?
Sorry. How is this?
Aka, you don't
Is
use
this
that. You
okay?
don't have the right to use that signal anymore. Shut the fuck up.
I'm not saying anything. What do you mean?
Wait. Ibrahim, what if you
This is
couldn't remember?
discrimination.
Wait,
Ibrahim,
I
what
want
if you couldn't remember because you drank too much?
Oh, that was low-key racist, bro. Ibrahim's still possessing.
Just kidding, I'm not gone.
Alright,
to
get
be
out
honest-
of here.
Wait. Sasang, you say I cannot use it anymore. Is it because I'm Burmese?
No, it's
Bruh,
because you don't
Sasang,
talk
that's
too
not
much.
cool, man.
Oh yeah, okay, we'll get into that. Mistaking nothing for racism. We'll get into that. But basically that night when we were at that party, right? Ibrahim and I were just doing our thing. We were helping them by taking temperature for all the guests that were coming in. So all these people,
Yeah, and the thermometer was not even working.
yeah, the thermometer was not even properly working, but
Hey, you should not expose them.
You
bro.
shouldn't tell that us like
Don't tell the viewers that. Come on.
so like all these famous people were coming in, and then this RJ was the one that asked us out for help. So I was like, yo, it's dope. Yeah, we're gonna help you out. So we go there, and then right, people assume that we're actually trying to find work, like full-time work. People are assuming like, I'm pretty sure it was people were like looking down on us, like straight up. And then I feel like the first
Wait,
thing came to my mind was
I have
like,
a question.
Yeah.
Were they taller than you guys?
Why, bro?
I think
Why?
we're
Then how?
Oh, yo,
Because they
Kirtan,
might be looking down.
don't take everything
oh
literally,
my
bro.
god.
Then there would be a racist joke saying that actually, right, we are actually taller than some of the Chinese.
Oh wait, you just no. You did.
Just joking, guys. It's just
Okay.
No,
but let's
It's
get
chill.
into that.
You see, we know what racism is. We just talked about it. We're just making fun of racism existing. That's right.
Oh,
Sasang, please
But
continue.
Yeah.
that's racist also.
Yeah. So like basically they were saying like, what are you guys trying to find you finished studying, you're trying to find work? And then we're like, no, we're actually moving on to tertiary education. And then these people look actually pretty surprised there. They look pretty surprised. And then the way they look at us, because like this place was a majority of them were Chinese. Right? We'll move on to speak about Chinese privilege. But like basically I'll start with this. Like they were this is an independent house, by the way. This is a terrace house. So like these people were just looking at us as if we were not gonna study anymore. We're just gonna find work for the rest of our lives. And I'm like, bruh, I don't think that's how it works. Just because we look like something, just because we're doing a job over here, doesn't mean we're actually finding.
No, but they actually give you one of them actually give you beer, right? Saying that they drink so much, right? Like, what?
It was like you want beer, you want beer. She's going to every single Indian guy and then asking him, you want beer, and only the Indian guys.
How the hell did he find a secret that you're like so tolerant to it?
She's like, they're like coming up to only Indians. Going up to only Indians and then saying like, you want a beer, which I felt like was super. This is so wrong, like categorizing a certain race because what it is known for doing, it is known for doing a certain thing, is so wrong. Like saying, we're not gonna bring it up now, but like, I'll bring it up for Indians. Saying like Indians drink. All Indians drink is a classification, which is a wrong classification. And I feel like, like
Sasang's father doesn't drink.
This should stop. Like, not just because my father doesn't drink.
So muscular, bro. No, your father damn muscular. Never mind. I'll talk about your father another day.
Wait, is Kirtan lagging?
I need to stop the jokes. Oh, sorry, bro. I just read out your.
I need to stop the jokes.
Wait, but why is Kirtan?
How do I exit this?
Yo. Oh no, your screen's frozen.
Oh, there we go. My screen's frozen.
Okay, now it's okay.
We'll be talking about
I was typing and
why
you read it out. So
what is Chinese privilege and this is our next segment. So yeah.
But at the end, but I just want to say that at the end of the day, we still had fun.
Yeah.
Am I right?
We do make racist remarks.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they were still nice people in the end. It's just that they just presumed that all Indians drink, and then they were just asking all the Indians, you want to drink, which is pretty racist now. But they are.
Do you deny it? Do you deny the drink?
Nah, he drank it.
Yeah, he denied it.
Okay, guys, next segment.
Yeah.
Wait, how old are you, Sasa?
19.
Okay,
Faster say lah.
We're live, guys. You're back with our segment. Ibrahim has something to share with us. Go ahead, bro.
Okay, so let me just explain of the racist jokes. Some people actually see they call this as racist jokes as under casual racism, and some of it as extreme racist remarks. Well, I mean, I'm actually neutral about it, to be honest, because okay, some people actually say racist is racist. There's no like category, but I think I'm not neutral, guys. Let me be honest now. I think I'm not neutral. I think I lean more to the casual racism part, because it's actually it's a norm in our society that we make jokes of other races. Like if you see stand-up comedians like Russell Peter, he make jokes about the stereotypes of race. But I'm not saying he's racist, like he doesn't make racist jokes. Now, actually, I actually make racist jokes in front of my Chinese friend. I mean, they laugh with it and everything, but I'm not sure if they are comfortable with it. But here's the problem for that. You see, when someone make a racist joke on you and you are not comfortable with it, say it, tell them straight away. Especially if it's your friend. Because they might not really know. Like they might not really know that, because they will be thinking, come on man, it's just a joke, it's just a meme. So of course people will not get that perspective that this is actually racist, this is actually this discrimination. So you have to teach them, you have to make them learn that, bro, this is the line, you cannot cross this, you may make other jokes
or you don't even make jokes around me, then you should think about it. But if other people are like okay with the jokes, yeah, I think we are okay with it. Like example, you say that nowadays, if a person wants to be gay, it's his problem, it's his business. That's the same thing when we say we are actually okay with racist jokes, but I know it's a bit level down now. So we are okay with racist jokes, then we can actually
I
make
don't
some racist
understand the
jokes.
link. I don't understand the link.
The
So,
comparison.
okay.
He's making a comparison.
So okay, you are saying that just let them be. They want to be gay, just let them be. Let them be. Is their nature? Is
It's
their
their right,
opinion?
right?
Yeah, it's their right. So we also have right saying that okay, you can make racist jokes around me. I'm totally okay with that. That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, yes, you might say that, bro, you can't compare this to that. It's two different things. But I'm actually, making sense of it. That's my point of view. That's my opinion. That's my perspective of that. Yep.
So yeah, it was Ibrahim just spoke about this because of like he wanted to say why we also like to joke about racism, right? So like
He's making
why is
sense
that?
of it.
We feel like bruh.
Bro, this puns.
So we feel like we personally, even I feel like
Get this shit out of
casual
here.
racism is okay when it's done with your friends. Right? When you're close friends.
No,
But
I would say
if you are there being discriminated by someone and you don't feel comfortable with it, like what Ibrahim said, stand up for yourself, guys. If you are facing racism in the group that you're hanging out with, that's the last place you want to be. If someone discriminates
Yeah.
you or like says,
if not you, then who? If not you, then who will stand up for yourself?
Yeah, if not you,
Exactly.
let's just,
You
for
don't want to end up
example,
like
let's just
Hannah
say-
Baker.
Oh shit.
But that happened years ago, right? The brown face or black face.
It was quite recent, I think. I read up on it.
Yeah, stand
No,
up.
actually, people
stand up for
actually
yourself,
brought
man.
up about that. Yeah. But
Brought
Yeah,
it up.
you know what? Let's
You
not
know,
talk about
you know the song or not? Stand up for Singapore.
Even
Yeah,
if
stand
you're
up for
Best
crippled,
you
bam,
can.
bam, bam, bam.
Okay.
That as well.
Okay.
All right.
Very
So we wanted to move on to speaking about Chinese privilege. Guys, first of all, what is Chinese privilege?
Chinese
Firstly,
privilege,
what is a Chinese?
Wait,
Okay, never mind.
What the hell?
What is
All
a
right, can
Chinese
someone
privilege?
Akka,
think-
you know what?
It's-
Tell
I
me,
think-
Akka, tell me what
what
Chinese
me? I think it's very similar to like white privilege. You see?
Okay.
Like I don't know
What
lah.
is it?
I don't know. Okay, let me just say I'm just defining. I'm not sure if this thing really exists in society lah. But like Chinese privilege refers to like when people get how to say, like I don't know, like
Actually, it's not supposed to be Chinese privilege. It's more on the majority race privilege. That's
yeah, I would say that
privilege.
also.
Yeah.
I would say that also because it is only normal for a race that's in majority to like bully the other smaller races.
Yeah, I think that's how racism starts. I think
Yeah,
I think the
it
main
happens everywhere.
race that gets bullied, right, is the one that's in minority. So I think the whole issue arises from being a
Bullying.
minority race.
Oh yeah, sorry.
It's like majority minority. So like
And not
imagine,
only in Singapore or like this happens
Yeah,
all
exactly.
around the world, man.
yeah,
Any
it's like
country.
okay, Chinese people. Let's just say I'm giving an example. Chinese people discriminate an Indian in Singapore, but then that same Chinese person he himself will get discriminated by an Indian person in India.
In India.
by
That's
by
right.
Yes.
an Indian guy who is racist. So like that's how racism arises, guys. Racism arises from being there being a majority and a minority in the same area. And like people are not born racist, they're taught to be racist when they grow up by all this. Okay, when you go to bed and then a Chinese mother tells their kid, oh, if you don't sleep, the Apu Nene will come. What the hell? Where did that even arise from?
Or not, they'll just say Karanguni. I don't get it. The people actually say Karanguni referring to the Indian people. But
Yeah,
most of the
exactly.
time, the Karangunis under my blog is actually Chinese, so I
Yeah,
don't
so
really
by
care.
saying this kind of
I'm
Just
just
kidding,
stating
please continue. Yeah, I
facts.
know, I know, I know.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
No.
like this is
Let's
how
cancel
racism
Ibrahim,
starts,
guys.
racism starts from when you as a 3-year-old is being told by your mom to sleep, if not the Apu Nene will come. That's the very first time you are taught to
But
be
you
a
see, the word
racist.
Apu Nene is funny. I would say the word Apu Nene is funny.
I have a question.
All right, yeah, Kirtan,
Yeah,
go for
what's
it.
up, man? What's up?
Yeah.
To all the mothers telling their kids that the Apu Nene will come, who the hell told you I'm so free? You think I don't need to study and shit? What the hell? You think I would come for your child?
Bro, you
What
are.
are you? You think I'm free? You think I have time?
Bro, my
No,
mother
bro,
was lah,
no.
bro. My mother would say, even Apu Nene won't come for you. You're so useless.
That's kind of sad, man. Huh? You know it's sad when he
That's a
doesn't come.
really sad, bro. Even my virtual background gave
For me, my mother will say the devil will come after you. Better sleep or no, you will go to hell. I'm like, come on, chill. Just spend time.
I just didn't see.
I'm kidding.
So guys, that's
I'm
where
not ready
racism
to go
Dude,
there.
arises from,
dude,
guys.
I
That's
bet
where it
if the
starts.
devil overhears that shit, he's gonna be scared. He's like, nah, fam, we can't take the risk for this one. He's sleeping. He's sleeping.
You can't take the risk. So like
Yes,
you
figured
grow
it out.
up,
He's
you
too
grow up
smart.
thinking that Indians are these, like this is an example, Chinese discriminating Malays and Indians. Okay, so what do Chinese have? Their parents? Okay, majority. I'm classifying you right now. I'm just stereotyping you right now. But like majority of you are forced to go for tuitions since a very young age. You are forced to study, so that's how you get smart, right? And then you start to believe, that, oh, I'm smart, and then the other races are dumb, which is not the case, guys. It's just that how I would say, right? All of us are equal. Like no matter of we are different, and that's what makes us equal.
Unless you're dented.
That's what makes us the same. Denton is
Yeah,
like an
it's like
exceptionally smart guy. Shout out to
at the
Denton.
end of the day, everyone's like so-called talents and all that adds up to 100%. Some people might be talented in the education side. Some people might be talented in singing or anything else. So you can't just compare like an elephant to a monkey with
Yeah, exactly.
looking at the ability that they can climb a tree. 'cause
Exactly.
then
That's
an
how
elephant-
racism takes place. It's like
Yeah, because elephants can climb trees, but
Oh,
I got a bit emotional because I'm a monkey, you see.
are you making fun of Ibrahim now?
relax. But like that's how you
So
grow
you're
up.
calling me
being racist.
elephant lah.
So basically,
Wait, how do you
No.
figure that out?
let me say
Guys,
lah. Let's get
let
to the
Pocha
point.
really speak.
Let's get to the point.
Okay,
So basically, that's
Bocha.
how Chinese privilege arises. It starts at that very young age, and you grow up slowly learning more things, like calling races, "Oh, you're smelly for being this race," or like moving away from that Indian.
It's smelly.
What's my?
Let's get
what's
to
that-
the point.
Oh my
The
god!
point.
Yo,
Carry to the buns.
I
So,
totally
like-
agree with him, but not the approach.
So
Should I cool it
I
down?
feel like Chinese privilege is not. It's not something you're born with. It's more of something you're taught as being a majority, like part of being a majority group.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say, lah. So I'm just saying, right? There needs to be a circuit breaker to this type of thing. There needs to be a movement. There needs to be a change. Basically, circuit breaker is like
Hold up. People just
Oh,
go
but
on.
you're not really discussing about Chinese privilege. You're just
PAP just
moving around
announces
the-
all Chinese people stay at home now. They're like, shit.
You
they
should
can't
talk about the
insult them
Chinese
anymore.
privilege in our nation.
No
Ibrahim,
political
go for
jokes, brother.
Chinese
Ibrahim, go for
privilege. Bro, I'm actually not so okay. Actually, I do feel like Chinese privilege exists in Singapore. I mean, it exists in all society of a nation. The majority privilege, of course, because
Yeah.
in the government or the parliament, the majority might be actually the majority race. Like in Singapore, Chinese. Humans are biased, but we are trying to actually reduce it. Now, but I want to talk about systemic racism, but I think we can talk about it after hearing your point of views, lah. Chinese privilege in this nation.
Okay. Yeah, Aka, Keaton and Aka, do you have any points?
I think I know too little to say.
Huh?
I would say I know too little to say. Like I don't know. I've not really experienced something that goes like Chinese privilege. As compared to like like white privileges in America and all, like, it's really obvious. You can just say, okay, that's white privilege. You can see that. Not as unfair treatment. You know what I mean?
So you
But
believe
like
that there's not a really powerful Chinese privilege in Singapore?
I would say China stuff, bro.
What are you doing, bro?
Stuff. Like I don't want to be
Okay,
conclusive,
then
but
should I
like,
just
I don't want
dive
to be
into
conclusive that
systemic
there's Chinese.
racism already?
Yeah, I think we talk about systemic racism first. Yeah.
Okay,
Then
so
you'll understand what I mean by that.
okay, so many people actually say that there's systemic racism in Singapore. Like for example, the Chinese actually gets more jobs than the minorities, Malays and Indians. Like when you compare the percentage, you see the Malays and Indians don't really get that much of jobs. Many people have said that in the
Kind of
army,
jobs.
in national service, there are more Chinese recruits in the
Right.
section.
These are just like
Getting
what we think. Do not come after us for us. Yeah, it's
what
not
normal
facts. Yeah.
Singaporeans think nowadays. Yes. So
Yep.
Yeah.
when you see, maybe you can see in Our Boys to Men also, that you see the whole company or just the section, you have maybe around 16 Chinese people. Then the remaining 4 is minorities. Yeah, but I'm here to actually talk about another point of view. Let's get this in our brain, okay? The Chinese are the majority, the Malays and Indians are the minorities. So, example, let's talk about this. The Chinese people is actually 75% of our population of Singapore. If I'm not wrong,
I
we
don't
have
think is it that big.
Yeah, it is
74.
that big. Okay, actually, I screenshotted some.
That's what she said.
So some resources. Let me go quick. Okay,
First you
let me just go
first you
quick.
talk about jobs, and then now you talk about that's what she
Okay,
said.
so look at this. Chinese people. I'm talking about citizens and maybe the residents of Singapore. Chinese people is 2.9 million people. Okay, Malays are not even close there. They are 540k. Okay, then the Indians are actually 362k.
Also,
So there's just look at the number Chinese
shocked.
and Malays. Just compare it.
State that number again, bro. State it solidly.
2 million, 2.9 million Chinese people. Malays are
Man's doing the math.
540k.
Okay.
So
0.54
there's
plus
around
2.9.
okay. Let's just 3 million
The-
minus 500,
the
2.5 million
ratio-
around there.
The ratio, right, is there
For
are
everyone-
5.37 times for every one Malay person. There are 5.37 Chinese people.
Yo, that's
Okay,
quick maths
then
right
we
there. Quick
just
maths right there for
pen
you.
down to 1:5. Okay, 1:5. Now, let's talk about in a company. Okay, there are 10 Chinese. There are 10 Singaporean Chinese. Okay,
Okay.
let's just assume there are 10 Singaporean Chinese. I'm just scratching off the surface. Okay,
This is
it's
getting
not
somewhere,
really
yes.
accurate. It's just an assumption. Okay,
Okay.
so there are 10 Singaporean Chinese. Okay, so 2 of them don't really have the maybe 3 of them didn't really have any qualifications that the company has for the job. Okay, so they do not have any qualification, be it a degree or diploma. They don't have any qualifications. Now you have 7 people left. In that 7 people, maybe the one Chinese person don't really check about this job interview or the job in the company. So he might not turn out for that interview. Now you have left 6 Singaporean Chinese going for the interview. No, but interview is not like I select all 6 people. It's not always like that. So let's say half of them actually passed. Okay, so half of them actually passed. So it's only 3 people getting the job. So 3 out of 10 Chinese Singaporeans are getting the job. Yes, Kirtan, what do you have?
Do they pass the interview or do they pass away?
No, they passed the interview.
Right,
Even after that interview, you still have internship, all this, screening process, like selection process. So maybe we can actually safely say only 2 people actually pass the whole eligibility criteria to get into the job. Now, when you talk about Malays, you cannot straight away. I'm just taking this for an example because Malay is the largest minority. Malays make around 15% of Singapore's population. Now, when you compare the ratio,
Indians have a bigger population.
no,
Lesser one, I think.
Malays have the Malays are the larger minority.
Oh, okay,
people.
okay.
So let's actually compare the ratio. So Malay is 1, Chinese is 5. You cannot straight away say Malay is actually 10 people. We can only say Malays, there are 2 people only going for that job. Now, if these 2 people, we don't know if one of them might not have the eligibility criteria, might not meet the qualifications for it. One of them might be rejected in the interview, or both of them don't know about the interview. So at the end of the day, there's a lower chance for Malay people, not because they are Malay, not because they are Indian, but because of the percentage of people. This data might not be accurate, but that's my point of view. Like,
Basically, what you mean is generally they have lesser people.
Yeah,
lesser people who apply for jobs, and like when people apply for jobs, not everybody will meet the eligibility.
Yes,
So you're saying this is not racism, like you're saying this is more of basic statistics.
Yeah,
no, this is more of just low, like.
But you still have to consider other factors. You still have to consider other factors. Okay, in a population, there are students, they are not working adults. Some of them are elderly. You have all these factors. So these factors actually
working
contribute.
Population and shit along
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Yeah.
That's
So I feel like in Singapore, systemic racism doesn't really exist. Okay, maybe in other countries, yes.
There are a few. Let me just share. There are like a few arguments that say that systemic racism
sure.
exists. So like they say, like I don't know, we don't know whether it's true. This is just rumors and things that we hear. Because we are first of all, we are only 17 years old, so we don't know much. But like they say, people in NS, they say like people come off NS, people in serving NS. A lot of people say there's a lot of racism in NS pertaining to where they are assigned to. So like there's like prejudice where like say like Chinese people will go to the Air Force kind of thing, and then like the Malay people will go police force, fire,
infantry,
CDF.
mostly infantry or something like that.
Yeah.
Or not like, SCDF, yeah. Then they
so because of their
police.
because of their racial like backgrounds, they get classified into jobs. Yeah, like so it's not. Yeah, so it's not. They say that's where racism lies. That's where a form of systemic racism lies, because you can't really choose. Like when in NS, you can't really choose where you're going to be assigned, right?
Yes.
Like it comes from an authoritative figure. So like like somewhat as a whole, I would say the government choose your job for you. So when they choose it based on this kind of assumptions that about race, it becomes systemic racism. But like let's not make it conclusive, yeah. So because we don't know much, yeah, this is just speculation.
I'm saying
so we don't know. We don't know for
we're
a
not
fact.
Completely eliminating the fact that there might be racism. There could be, there could be some form of racism.
Or it could not be racism. We're not.
Could be like
yeah,
what
exactly.
Ibrahim mentioned. Yep.
It could just be that these people fit the criteria of this job more than the other. That's why they are there.
And the majority minority goes in such a way that you suddenly realize, a larger
it's just
race,
a coincidence.
A larger race
just
is doing a better job.
What if it makes sense? Because Chinese people go to Air Force because the streamlined shape of their eyes would help them when it's like...
No.
Yo, get out of here, man. Get out of here.
Just kidding.
Rules are jokes that we don't accept.
Regarding the population,
for
right?
that.
Sorry, that was a joke, obviously. I feel like I might have stretched that one too far, but obviously...
You see, like, even minorities, many people say that majority only make racist remarks. But no, the minority in Singapore also make racist remarks about the majority.
Exactly, you have a prime example. Kirtan,
You just gave an example over there.
Obviously, there was a joke. What I'm saying was like in correlation to the Air Force ones,
Air Force
ones?
What?
Air Force, the Air Force, Ibrahim,
I try to say like Air Force One is white and wait a minute. You know, this
Hey,
guy,
there,
this
there
guy's
also
onto
there also
something.
black. There's black Air Force Ones as well. Where are the
Oh,
brown
okay,
Air
okay.
Force Ones?
Actually, brown Air Force Ones do exist. It's just that it's a little bit more expensive.
No,
Why?
it's
Because
That's
it's
we have
just
more
it's
brown.
not
value. Am I
related. It's
right?
not relevant.
I'm just kidding. Anyways,
Because it's
Ibrahim,
brown.
Ibrahim, you know what you mentioned about the population of how it's 2.9 million.
Yes.
You know what the government should do? This is a joke, by the way. What if they just put a one-child policy for all Chinese people?
No, yo,
my
you
No,
think
no,
it's
no,
God.
no.
funny? You think it's funny? No,
Actually, we need
yo.
more Singaporeans. Like we have low fertility rate. We are bringing actually more foreigners to actually sustain the economy. Yeah, but we will get there in
Exactly.
another episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sasang, what are your views about this?
Honestly, I feel like, in Singapore, it's natural that, like, we're talking about systemic racism. We're talking about systemic facts and racism. And, like, I feel like it can be very well mistaken as racism, systemic things,
Yes.
right? And it's fine. There's nothing you can do about it. All you're trying to ask you is understand that Chinese privilege is a really subjective thing. It is there. I'm not saying like Chinese privilege doesn't exist at all, but do understand that being in the majority, automatically there'll be more Chinese people at a certain place. Automatically. Like,
Because the
even at a
government
bad
needs to
job,
meet the
even at a really bad job, there could be a lot of Chinese people. And they
Yeah,
are,
yeah,
they
exactly.
are.
Yeah,
It's just because
exactly.
they are a majority. Calm down, guys.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just because they're a
in
majority, you see more of
yeah,
them doing more things. And like you suddenly feel
so
like, oh shit,
yeah.
these people are getting more opportunities, which is not the case. It's just that there are
You
more
lack
of
you
of
them
lack
and then
like
there are lesser of us. Basic
yeah.
thing. So like
Calm,
even in
calm.
school, right?
Understand.
Don't feel
Yes.
like oh wait, Hwa Chong only got a lot of Chinese people. No, that's not the case. It's mainly the case is because they are in the majority. All right.
So they just choose to go to that school. Maybe they live in maybe Hwa Chong is located at a neighborhood where a lot of
Yeah.
Chinese
Okay.
people live.
We'll
Talking
get
about
into
that,
this. Yeah, we'll get into
the government has in what has things in
Policy,
place
right?
to policies in place to try to lessen
Deal with it.
racism, to deal with racism. Like, if you don't know if you guys heard lah, there's a way like there's a thing about like
Every block.
HDB. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
every not
yeah,
every block, every level.
yeah,
Oh, every
It's
level. Yeah.
like example in 10 houses, they put like you must have
Oh
at least
yeah.
like 2 Malay houses and 2 Indian houses, and then the rest can be like Chinese
But
houses. That kind
automatically
of thing.
you'll
Or
automatically you'll
others.
see a
Just
lot of Chinese people. No, there's no choice already. Because there are more people, like said. Right. Okay, we are lagging.
How
we
episode about
literally
him?
had yo.
Oh man, Sasang Teresa's.
Okay, I'm back. I'm back.
on my level, I'm Indian. My neighbor is Chinese and Malay. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
it's
a
to
perfect
promote
example.
racial what you call it, racial mixing. So like people talk to different races, and then when when you talk, these are your neighbors, and like you just feel more. You see the bigger picture. You guys are all Singaporean, you see. So when you see the bigger picture, you feel
He's
This
lagging.
guy also lagging.
there's more identity. There's more identity. Your identity is Singaporean rather than just like an Indian or a Chinese or like a whatever your race is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. I see that. But let's come back to our main scope, guys. Let's talk about teenagers going through racism. What can they do, and how can we, overcome this?
Not you, then who?
Voice out.
Guys.
Yeah.
If not you, then who?
Yeah.
Not you, then who will voice out? No,
Yeah.
no one's going to voice out for your rights or whatever you feel.
Are you gonna
Not you,
ask
then
a
who?
mute guy to voice out? No, that's right. Stand up for itself.
Bro, there's such thing as like sign language, bro.
Yeah. There are a lot of
But
ways
honestly, I
for
feel
you to
like
voice
I've
out.
seen posts. There was a post going around of this Indian girl really saying how her life got ruined by how her life got. I'm just getting this
I read it.
implied
Yeah. Exactly.
from her post, she says that how her life was literally ruined, how her childhood was ruined by racism. And she goes
Wow.
pages and pages of writing down all the racist incidents that she has gone through, right? I'm saying, stand up for yourself like this girl did. The more people that
That's
talk
right.
about racism, the more people talk about the racism that you're going
And
through,
bro.
the more that people will start to notice, oh, this is racism. Oh, this is not racism. Oh, this is not supposed to be happening to me. Oh, I'm not supposed to be saying this. People don't know what's racism at this point. Like that day when the teacher said that, oh, I'm good looking for an Indian. And I'm like, take it, I'm happy, you know. I'm suddenly so happy. And then now I realize that that was actually not a compliment. He might have thought it as a compliment. I might have thought it as a compliment. But it is not. We were both being ignorant as fuck.
How we learn.
That is not the way.
Yeah.
How
Called
Kirtan, how
good
about you,
looking
man?
for being a certain race, being called good looking for a certain race is not a compliment. That's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. So like
Yeah.
certain things you might not think, both parties might not think is racism, but it is, guys. It is racism. So I feel like yeah, do you all have anything to say about it?
I just
Teenagers
have
going through.
a few things like, okay, you just have to voice out. You are most people actually think that the Chinese are actually racist. No, they will actually learn from this. They actually respect our culture, our minority culture. I do see some Chinese girls wearing sari during on racial harmony day. I do see
Yeah.
Chinese boys wearing
I
baju
think Racial
kurung.
Harmony Day is a really great day, but like I feel like people again the movement is lost.
It's for the
In
cloud.
trying to
Yeah,
look
it's
good.
like people.
It's for the cloud. It's trying to look good.
It's for the cloud.
Like all of us want to post Instagram pictures of us in our
Yeah.
traditional clothes.
Also, can I just cut you right there?
Yeah.
You know, the government has a program in education system called NE education. Primary school, you probably have heard of it.
National
Then secondary
education
school,
lah.
yeah, secondary school is
You
called
see,
CC. Is in your CC. Basically they'll tell you how to stand up against racism. Basically, there's a whole like a module on how to deal with racism. So, not saying that we are not learning at school. We're learning at school. Okay.
actually, you
All this
see,
stuff.
there are majority of the Chinese people. There's a large group actually says that we want to learn your culture, we respect your culture. They are not purposely racist because they don't know where is the line. So you have to tell them this is the line, and they will actually happily accept it. They will actually
Uh,
happily accept it, and they will be like, "Okay, man, got you, man. I'm going to respect you. I don't want to make any
Oh, what is this new
what is that?
fun?
What is that, bro?
That's the line.
That's the line.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
What I
feel
feel
like
is that, as what
yeah,
Arkar mentioned, he was like, we do learn about it, but we can't just learn about it and be like, oh yeah, okay, I'll just store it. We need to like implement it as well.
yeah.
So
Honestly, guys,
like,
if you're watching the podcast up until now, feel like
Yeah. Let me just
voice out all the racism that you've been through, or change if you're racist. Like casual racism is a whole other thing, but if you're an actual racist or if you're actually going through racism, first of all, for the former person, stop being racist. It's just as simple as that. We are all equal. Your race has flaws, my race has flaws, everyone's race has flaws, and everyone's race has
Has
has good
strengths.
sides to it, has its strengths, and that's what makes it so special, right? Flaws are what makes something so beautiful, right? And for the latter part, if you're going through racism, do not be afraid to voice it out. If you're still listening until this part, come up to any one of us, come up to Kirtan, come up to Ibrahim, come up to Aka, come up to me, and tell us that you're going through racism. And we will do as much as we can to help you out, right? Kirtan, you were saying something, I cut you off. I apologize for that, bro.
oh no, it's good. I was just saying, yeah, as Arkar mentioned, at the end of the day, I feel like if TLDR, too long didn't read, what we're trying to say is, right, racism exists, it's bound to exist. I addressed it on my story once, saying that as long as differences exist, there's bound to be like, oh, something's better, something's not, etc. So learn about it, stand up for it. It's a different thing to joke about it. I have people who mentioned, how do you know your friends are like, you have crossed the line for them, as I think we all talked about it. Tell them if it's actually offending, hurting you. And there are always two sides to a coin. So we can't just say, all Chinese people are racist, but what if it's because they're not so educated on our culture?
Yes,
They're
that's
making
correct.
wrong assumptions.
Yeah.
So we're not saying like all racists are intentionally being racist, which is why there's unintentional racism, which we addressed as well. Like
Mhm.
what Sasang said, like his teacher said, "You're handsome for an Indian." He was happy, but I don't think the teacher meant it as well. But it came out in such a way that now that he looks back at it, it's actually racist.
None of
and-
us meant that might need to be racist, but then now realizing that that was actually racist, and I'm not going to blame him for it. He's a great person. He's a great man. He probably didn't know that he was being racist, right? He probably didn't know it was racism. So, I would like to say that learn what is racism. Ask your friends, ask us what is racism. Like I've come this far going through a lot of shit, and now I can safely say that I know what is racism and I know how to stand up for it, lah. Because I finally have the courage to speak up for myself, to speak up for what I believe in. I believe in everyone being equal, lah. At least everyone being in equity. Equality is something that it's probably unrealistic to me personally, but equity is where it's at. So I feel like learn, guys, learn, voice out everything, speak with your friends. Yes, I'll go for it, bro. Yeah.
Go for it.
You know how like I would say a lot of older generation people or some people would feel that the best way to deal with racism is to not talk about racism, not talk about races. But that I think that solution worked in those olden days where people would just ignore racism because the majority was in too much power and they don't want to get into riots and wars and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but now we're in 2020, and it is the biggest. It is a year when there's a lot of racism movement. Racism is a real problem, and it's out there. And if not now, when are you going to talk about it? Like now is the best time you can talk about it. You can ever talk about it.
My man, right there, right there.
And we will apologize to you guys if you feel that this episode was make you feel a bit uncomfortable. But here's something.
I apologize for the jokes.
Yeah.
I had no intent of offending anyone or.
Yeah, I think none of us has any intention of hurting anyone or
We just want to make a point across.
Yeah,
We just want
I
to
would
make a
say,
point
speaking
across.
from experience, all four of us, at max, we are casual racists, with our friends. At max.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
we are
whether casual racism should be accepted in society, that's a question for you to think about.
That's
Yeah, you
for you
can
to think
comment
about
down
within
your
your
thoughts.
own,
I think
your own private
That answer
community.
is subjective. That answer is
It
subjective.
always depends
Yeah.
on.
Your line's
Yeah.
not straight, bro.
You
He's a
have
ruler.
to stay clear. Are you offending anyone? Are you all having fun? If you all are having fun, what more could you ask for? If you're having fun being casually racist, that's completely fine with us among your own circle of friends. But if you think that you're being casually racist, but then secretly someone feels someone actually feels discriminated, that's when you have to clarify.
Voice it out.
You have to voice it
exactly.
out. That's when you have to clarify, and one party has to clarify. One party has to voice out. That's where we become a happier group. That's why we become a happier community through communication.
Yeah.
Right? We have to learn what is acceptable. We have to learn what is not acceptable. Right?
Cool.
Can I actually wrap things up?
Yeah. Kirtan was saying something.
Cool kids.
Can I wrap things up, man?
Yeah. Let's go. Ibra, wrap it up first.
Okay, so these are my final thoughts and opinions. Racism is inevitable. There will always be racism. But what people don't get it is you have to voice out things. Okay? And not some people will just live to it, but some people don't. For those people who don't, voice out. Because when I do research for this episode, I actually read this report from Cambridge University saying that there's not much of a discussion in Singapore because they think that it's a taboo topic. Not in the sexual way, like it's taboo topic, okay. So
What is
Sorry, it's a
sexual?
what topic?
and also taboo.
Taboo.
Oh,
not
taboo,
really
okay.
spoken about.
Taboo,
Because,
bro.
yeah,
Not spoken of.
sensitive
Whatever, bro.
topics.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also they also say there's not much of a research surveys to actually talk about racism in Singapore. So what I encourage is actually the institutions, people to make more surveys, open talks. But here's the thing. I would say our Gen Z people, or basically the youths, are very sensitive these days. They take little things offensive. So be open-minded to these talks.
go for these talks, explain your perspective and everything. Because Singapore lacks this kind of talks,
Yeah.
forums. Like
What
you can,
lacks the discussion.
yeah, yes, exactly.
And-
You can see the
right.
Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister going for a forum discussion, but he only answers one question per time. How if we have a higher official actually have an open talk for maybe at least 30 minutes to 1
Just about
hour
racism,
on
eh?
one topic? Yes.
Yeah.
And we
And
can actually
have the
solve
courage,
this.
you know?
Yes.
Like,
and
you're gonna
That's what
offend
I want to
people
say, guys.
anyways, so
Speak out, voice out. We have come to the end of today's
And-
episode.
And last thing, bro, and last thing, don't always
Real quick,
actually
I need
accuse
to
the
speak about
government.
sponsor also.
Okay, don't accuse always the government.
Yeah.
Some
Sometimes
of this
it's us.
racism is done by the private companies.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Kirtan?
you have all the rights to voice.
Okay.
can I say I support KKK because my name starts with a K?
Oh my god. Okay,
No,
today
No,
let me speak
Get out,
about
man.
today's
Get out,
sponsor.
man. We're
Today's
canceling this
sponsor
guy.
is Starbucks. Today's sponsor on the Three Birds One Stone show is
I drink it without the cap.
Drink it without the cap, guys.
No cap. No
This
cap.
is Three
No,
Birds
shut up.
One
Yes,
Stone. Like, share this with your friends, guys. Share this around.
no.
Subscribe to Three Birds One Stone Productions. Follow our Instagram page, Three Birds One Stone Show. This is the episode
Follow
for
me
today.
on
Racism,
Instagram
guys.
at
Follow Kirtan.
VHS Kirtan.
We'll be adding him in the we'll be tagging him in the description. Go check out here. He has his own podcast.
Description.
It's called the Telos Podcast. He'll be coming out with new
That's
episodes
right.
soon. That's it for today,
You got
guys.
this.
Three Birds, One
Get to
Stone
work
Show.
now.
Signing out.
Don't
This
be
is
so lazy.
Sasang. That's Aka. That's Ibrahim, and our special guest for today.
Wait, we don't even
Kirtan,
get to
thank
say
you
our
for
own
coming
name.
on the show, bro. Shut up, lah. Kirtan,
Hey, thank you guys so much
coming
for
on the
having
show,
me
man.
here.
Yeah, thank you,
Yep,
bro.
it was
Thank
a
you
fun
so much.
discussion.
All right.
That was nice.
That was great.
Alright,
That was
bye-bye.
signing out. All right. Bye-bye, boys. Bye-bye.
Are we gonna dab?
I stopped recording already. So
Oh,
whatever.
are we gonna dab?
After you
No,
say
but
thank
Sasang is
out.
recording. Someone
Gone.
is recording.
Ciao, motherfuckers.
Alright.
Ciao.
Okay,
Ciao.
meet
Discord
in
for a second.
Discord.
Ciao.
Meet in Discord.